I think you're just jealous because no one has ever chosen you. Stephanie's voice cut through the private dining room like glass breaking. All eyes turned toward me. Champagne glasses stopped mid-air. The laughter at our parents' table died instantly. My chest felt hollow. She wasn't done. And now my own sister is trying to sabotage the best thing that ever happened to me. More laughter rippled through the room. Awkward at first, then comfortable. Confident. Our aunt nodded sympathetically at Stephanie. Our cousin whispered something to her husband. I stood there, frozen, knowing the only reason I had spoken up 3 days ago was to protect her. But she had just turned that protection into a weapon. She had humiliated me in front of everyone who mattered. That's when something inside me went quiet. Cold. I looked at Stephanie's fiancé, Blake, sitting beside her with perfect concern painted on his face. He squeezed her hand. He looked at me with manufactured pity. And I knew exactly what I had to do. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Not yet. 3 days earlier, I had pulled Stephanie into her sunny kitchen. Sunlight streamed through the window above her sink. Wedding magazines covered her counter. Sample invitations sat in neat piles. My hands were shaking. Steph, I need to tell you something about Blake, I whispered, glancing toward the living room where he sat with our parents. She smiled, distracted, still organizing her seating chart. He cornered me at Mom's house last weekend, I continued. He said things. Really inappropriate things. About you. About me. Her hand stopped moving. The smile froze on her face. She turned slowly toward me. I expected a shock. Maybe fear. Perhaps anger at him. Instead, her eyes went cold. Completely cold. Like I was a stranger who had just insulted her child. What are you talking about? Her voice had an edge I had never heard before. It wasn't confusion. It was warning. I pressed forward anyway. He's been messaging me. Flirting. He said if he had met me first. Stop. Stephanie's voice was sharp enough to cut. Just stop talking. My name is Jane Crawford, and I'm 28 years old. Stephanie is my older sister by 3 years. We shared a bedroom growing up. We told each other everything. Or so I thought. Until that moment in her kitchen when I realized she had already made her choice. And it wasn't me. You've always hated that I have what you don't, she said quietly. Too quietly. The kind of quiet that comes before an explosion. You're 28 and single, Jane. You can't keep a relationship longer than 6 months. And now that I'm finally happy, finally getting married, you can't stand it. Each word landed like a punch. I felt my face burning. That's not true, I managed. I have proof. I have messages. I have. She held up her hand. I don't want to hear it. Blake would never do that. He loves me. And you're just bitter and lonely and manipulative. Blake Harrison was perfect. That was the problem. He was 33, successful, charming. He worked in commercial real estate and made good money. Really good money. He drove a black Mercedes. He wore expensive suits that fit perfectly. He brought flowers to family dinners. He remembered birthdays without being reminded. He helped Mom clear dishes without being asked. He laughed at Dad's terrible jokes. He held doors. Made eye contact. Asked thoughtful questions. Everyone loved him. Stephanie had met him at a charity fundraiser 8 months ago. Within 3 months they were living together. Within 6 months he proposed. A 2-carat diamond ring. Sunset Beach proposal. Photographer hidden in the dunes. The whole thing was Instagram perfect. That's what made him so dangerous. Because predators don't look like predators. They look like Prince Charming. They know exactly what to say, how to act, when to touch someone's shoulder. Blake had studied this. Practiced it. Perfected it. And nobody wanted to believe that a man who seemed this good could be this bad. It had started small. So small I almost missed it. 2 months after they got engaged, Blake sent me a Facebook message. Your sister is lucky to have family like you. She talks about you all the time. Innocent enough. I replied with a simple thanks. Then a week later another message. I was thinking about what you said at dinner about your photography work. You're really talented. Stephanie doesn't talk about art the way you do. That one made me pause. But I told myself he was just being nice. Being a good future brother-in-law. Then came the message that changed everything. Sometimes I wonder if I proposed too fast. Don't get me wrong, I love your sister. But she doesn't understand me the way you do. You actually listen when I talk. My stomach twisted. I didn't respond to that one. But he kept going. If I had met you first, things might have been different. I screenshot that message immediately. Something told me I would need it. Our parents' anniversary dinner was at their house. 40 years of marriage. The whole family came. Cousins, aunts, uncles, old family friends. Blake was charming everyone as usual. Making toasts. Taking photos. Being perfect. I stepped outside onto the back patio around 9 o'clock. I needed air. Needed space. Needed to think about those messages and what they meant. The door opened behind me 30 seconds later. Escaping the crowd? Blake's voice made me jump. He stepped out, closing the door softly. The party noise became muffled. We were alone. You look beautiful tonight, he said, moving closer. Too close. Blake, don't. I stepped back. He smiled. That perfect smile. Come on, Jane. We both know there's something here. I see how you look at me. My hand found my phone in my jacket pocket. Instinct. Pure instinct. I hit the voice recorder app without even looking. I don't look at you anyway, I said clearly. You're engaged to my sister. He laughed. Actually laughed. Your sister is high maintenance. Everything has to be perfect. The wedding. The house. Everything. It's exhausting. The recording captured everything. His voice was clear. Perfect audio quality. Thank God I had bought a good phone. You're the real catch, Jane, Blake continued. Stephanie just happened to be there first. Wrong place, right time. Or maybe wrong sister, right family. I felt sick. Physically sick. But I kept the recording going. She trusts me completely, he said with a smirk. It's actually kind of sweet how naive she is. She believes everything I tell her. Making her fall in love was so easy. He stepped even closer. I could smell his cologne. Expensive. Suffocating. We should get coffee sometime. Just us. We could keep it discreet. Nobody has to know. Think about it. Then he winked. Actually winked. Like this was some romantic comedy instead of a betrayal. He went back inside, leaving me shaking on the patio. I saved the recording immediately. Backed it up to 3 different places. Cloud storage. Email. External drive. I didn't save it because I wanted revenge. I saved it because I knew nobody would believe me without proof. And even with proof, I wasn't sure Stephanie would choose truth over fantasy. The engagement dinner happened 2 days after I told Stephanie. She had ignored my calls, blocked my texts, but she sent me an invitation to the dinner anyway. A formal printed invitation. Like I was just another guest. I almost didn't go, but something made me show up. Maybe I hoped she had thought about it. Maybe she had talked to Blake. Maybe she believed me now. I was wrong. So completely wrong. After dinner, during dessert, Stephanie stood to make a toast. She looked beautiful. Happy. Glowing. I want to thank everyone for celebrating with us tonight, she began. The room went quiet. Attentive. Planning a wedding makes you realize who truly supports you. Her eyes found mine across the room. And who doesn't? My blood went cold. Some people can't be happy for others, she continued. Some people are so bitter about their own lives that they try to destroy everyone else's happiness. She was talking about me. Everyone knew she was talking about me. My own sister tried to convince me that Blake is some kind of villain. That he's been inappropriate with her. Laughter. That's what followed. Actual laughter. Not shocked gasps. Not concerned whispers. Laughter. Because the idea of perfect Blake doing something wrong was apparently hilarious. Stephanie kept going. She can't handle that I found someone who loves me. That someone chose me. So she made up stories. Lies. Anything to ruin this. I could have stood up. Could have screamed. Could have played the recording right then from my phone. Let everyone hear his voice. His words. His betrayal. But something stopped me. Maybe it was the humiliation. Maybe it was seeing how committed Stephanie was to her fantasy. Maybe it was realizing that even with proof she might not believe me. People see what they want to see. Hear what they want to hear. So instead I stood up slowly. Every eye in the room locked on me. And I said the only thing that would end this moment. You're right, Stephanie. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Her expression shifted. Surprise then satisfaction. I shouldn't have said those things about Blake, I continued. I hope you'll forgive me. Then I left. Walked out. Got in my car. Drove home. And I made a decision. I would let the fantasy grow. Let it build higher and higher. Let Blake dig his hole deeper and deeper. Wedding planning exploded after that dinner. Stephanie posted countdown photos on Instagram every week. 90 days until I marry my best friend. 60 days until forever. She shared everything. Dress shopping. Cake testing. Venue tours. Flower arrangements. Blake played his role perfectly. Commented on every post with heart emojis. Shared romantic photos of them together. Posted about how lucky he was. How he couldn't wait to call her his wife. Meanwhile, he never stopped messaging me. Not once. He didn't know I had never blocked him. Didn't know I was saving every single message. Screenshot after screenshot after screenshot. He thought my apology meant I was interested. Thought my silence meant I was playing hard to get. Men like Blake always think women are playing games. It never occurs to them that we're just collecting evidence. His messages came weekly, then daily. Sometimes multiple times a day. Each one more reckless than the last. I can't stop thinking about you. That message came on a Tuesday. Stephanie's at her dress fitting. I told her I had a work meeting. Wish I was meeting you instead. My stomach turned, but I screenshot it. Added it to the folder. Do you ever think about us? About what could happen if we just admitted this thing between us? There was no thing between us. There was only his delusion. His entitlement. His betrayal. I think about you when I'm next to her at night. Is that wrong? Feels wrong. But it also feels real. He sent photos of himself. Gym selfies. Getting in shape for the wedding. Wish you could see it in person. He sent complaints about Stephanie. She's obsessing over napkin colors. Napkin colors. You wouldn't care about stuff like that. He sent promises. After the wedding, after things settle down, maybe we could take a trip together. Just as friends. Nobody would have to know. Every message made me angrier. Not at him anymore. I expected this from him. But at my sister. For choosing him. For humiliating me. For believing his lies. Still, I never responded. Not once. Just saved everything. Watched the evidence pile higher. The engagement party arrived exactly 8 weeks before the wedding. 200 guests. Extended family. Friends from college. Blake's work colleagues. Stephanie's sorority sisters. People I hadn't seen in years. The venue was stunning. A historic mansion with marble floors and crystal chandeliers. Gardens outside with string lights. Open bar. Live band. Stephanie had worn white. Not quite a wedding dress, but close. Lace and pearls in perfection. She looked like a bride already. Blake wore a navy suit. They looked like they belonged in a magazine. Picture perfect couple. Dream engagement party. I arrived alone. Wore a simple black dress. Kept my head down. Found a corner table in the back. Stephanie hadn't looked at me once since I walked in. Neither had our parents. I was there, but I wasn't there. A ghost at my own sister's celebration. The party went exactly as planned. Speeches from Blake's best man. Toast from Stephanie's maid of honor. Stories about how they met. How perfect they were together. How lucky they were to find each other. Everyone smiled. Laughed. Cheered. Celebrated the fantasy. I sat in my corner. Waited. My phone in my purse. My plan ready. Blake stood up around 8:30. Tapped his champagne glass with a fork. The room went quiet. All eyes on him. He smiled that perfect smile. Looked at Stephanie with manufactured adoration. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, he began. His voice was smooth. Practiced. When I met Stephanie, I knew immediately she was special. Different from anyone I'd ever met. Stephanie blushed. Squeezed his hand. She's beautiful, obviously. But more than that, she's kind. Trusting. Loyal. The word loyal almost made me laugh. The irony was suffocating. In a world where people lie and cheat and betray each other, he continued, looking right at me now, Stephanie chooses to see the best in people. She chooses trust over suspicion, love over doubt. He was talking about me, making me the villain. Again. So here's to loyalty, he said, raising his glass. To honesty. To trust. And to the woman who believes in me completely. The room erupted in applause. Glasses clinked. People cheered. Blake kissed Stephanie dramatically. The perfect moment. The perfect couple. The perfect lie. I stood up. My chair scraped against the marble floor. The sound cut through the applause. Conversations stopped. Heads turned. Blake's smile faltered for just a second. Just long enough for me to see the flash of panic. Since we're celebrating honesty, I said calmly, clearly, I have something to share. My voice didn't shake. My hands didn't tremble. 3 months of humiliation had burned away my fear. Stephanie rolled her eyes. Looked at our mother like, here we go again. Like I was the embarrassing relative about to make a scene. She thought I was going to apologize again. Or cause drama. Make accusations nobody would believe. She had no idea what was coming. Jane, this isn't the time, Mom warned. But I was already walking toward the front. Toward the microphone Blake had just used. Toward the speaker system connected to his perfect toast. This will only take a minute, I promised. I pulled my phone from my purse. The recording was cued. Ready. Waiting for months to be heard. Blake made a beautiful speech about loyalty, I continued. About trust. About honesty. I looked right at him. So let's be honest. I connected my phone to the speaker system. The technology guy Blake hired gave me a confused look but didn't stop me. The room was silent now. Completely silent. Confused. Curious. Waiting to see what the crazy sister would do. I hit play. Blake's voice filled the room. Crystal clear. Unmistakable. You're the real catch, Jane. Stephanie just happened to be there first. Wrong place, right time. Or maybe wrong sister, right family. Gasps. Actual gasps. Like air being sucked out of the room. The recording continued. Your sister is high maintenance. Everything has to be perfect. The wedding. The house. Everything. It's exhausting. I watched Stephanie's face. Watched the color drain. Watched her smile collapse. Watched reality crash into her fantasy like a wrecking ball. She trusts me completely. It's actually kind of sweet how naive she is. She believes everything I tell her. Making her fall in love was so easy. More gasps. Louder now. Whispers starting. Someone said, "Oh my God." Blake was standing now. Frozen. His mouth open. No words coming out. We should get coffee sometime. Just us. We could keep it discreet. Nobody has to know. Think about it. The recording ended. Silence. Complete devastating silence. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The silence was so heavy it felt like pressure on my chest. 200 people holding their breath at once. Stephanie's face was white. Completely white. Like all the blood had drained from her body. Her hand was still holding Blake's, but loosely now. Like she had forgotten it was there. Blake opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. That, he started. His voice cracked. That's taken out of context. Out of context. That was his defense. I almost laughed. Is it? I asked. I held up my phone. Swiped to the messages. Because I have months of texts too. Want me to share those as well? His face changed. The charm disappeared. The mask slipped. For the first time, everyone in that room saw the real Blake. The calculating one. The manipulative one. The predator hiding behind the perfect smile. Whispers exploded across the room. Low and urgent. Blake's colleagues looked at each other. Stephanie's sorority sisters pulled out their phones. Our mother had her hand over her mouth. Our father looked like he wanted to hit someone. And Stephanie just stood there. Broken. Her perfect engagement party turning into a nightmare. I connected my phone to the TV screen mounted on the wall. The messages appeared. Huge. Impossible to ignore. I can't stop thinking about you. Timestamp. 3 weeks ago. Screenshot. Clear as day. Stephanie's at her dress fitting. I told her I had a work meeting. Wish I was meeting you instead. 2 weeks ago. Another screenshot. Do you ever think about us? About what could happen if we just admitted this thing between us. 10 days ago. I think about you when I'm next to her at night. 6 days ago. Message after message. Dozens of them. Scrolling slowly so everyone could read. So nobody could claim they misunderstood. So there was no way to explain it away. No out of context. No just joking around. Just the truth. Time-stamped. Documented. Undeniable. Someone near the back started crying. Stephanie's maid of honor stood up, looking between Stephanie and Blake with horror. Blake's best man left the table. Just stood up and walked out. More people followed. The room was emptying. Slowly at first. Then faster. Nobody wanted to be part of this anymore. Nobody wanted to be in the photos. In the story. Associated with this disaster. Blake tried to laugh. Actually tried to laugh. Like this was all a big misunderstanding. Some weird joke that went too far. Okay, look, he said, attempting his charming voice. But it came out wrong. Desperate. This is just Jane being dramatic. She's had a crush on me since we met. I was trying to be nice. Nice. The word came from Stephanie. Quiet at first. Then louder. Nice. She dropped his hand. Stepped away from him. Away from the man she was supposed to marry in 8 weeks. You told her making me fall in love was easy. That I'm naive. That I trust you completely like it's some kind of joke. Her voice was shaking now. Not with sadness. With rage. How long? She demanded. How long have you been doing this? Blake's confidence crumbled completely. Baby, please, let's talk about this privately. How many women? Stephanie's voice was getting louder. Stronger. How many women have you messaged? Flirted with? Promised things to? He didn't answer. Couldn't answer. Because we both knew the answer. I wasn't the first. I was just the first one who collected evidence. Who didn't fall for it. Who fought back. Blake looked around the room. Looked for support. For allies. For someone to defend him. Found none. Everyone was staring at him like he was a stranger. Because he was. The person they thought they knew never existed. Stephanie turned to me. Finally. After 3 months of silence. After the humiliation. After choosing him over me. After calling me jealous and bitter and manipulative. Our eyes met across the destroyed party. Across the shattered fantasy. Her makeup was running now. Tears cutting through foundation and powder. You tried to tell me, she whispered. But everyone heard it in the silence. 3 days before the engagement dinner. You tried to warn me. I nodded. Didn't say anything. What was there to say? And I called you jealous. I humiliated you. I chose him over you. Her voice broke completely. I thought you were trying to ruin my happiness. But you were trying to save me. She looked at Blake. Then back at me. I watched her replay every conversation in her head. Every time I tried to warn her. Every time she defended him. Every time she chose his lies over my truth. The weight of it crushed her. Right there. In front of 200 people. In her white dress. At her engagement party. She collapsed into a chair. Put her face in her hands. Her shoulders shook. Our mother ran to her. Wrapped arms around her. Glared at Blake with pure hatred. Get out, Dad said. His voice was calm. Deadly calm. Get out of here before I do something I'll regret. Blake left. Didn't fight. Didn't defend himself. Didn't apologize. Just grabbed his jacket and walked toward the side exit. His shoulders were hunched. His perfect posture gone. He looked smaller somehow. Diminished. He glanced back once. Not at Stephanie. At me. And I saw it clearly. Not remorse. Not shame. Anger. He was angry at me. For exposing him. For not playing along. For ruining his perfect con. That look told me everything I needed to know. He wasn't sorry he did it. He was sorry he got caught. The door closed behind him. He was gone. Just like that. The man who was supposed to be the groom. The future husband. The perfect son-in-law. Gone in 30 seconds. Cowards don't fight when they're exposed. They just run. Find the next victim. The next woman who will trust them. The next family to infiltrate. The next life to ruin. But at least he wouldn't ruin Stephanie's. Not anymore. I had made sure of that. The party dissolved completely after he left. Guests making awkward exits. Saying nothing. What could they say? The photographers packed up their equipment. The band stopped playing. The bartenders started cleaning up. It was over. The room cleared fast. Within 20 minutes, only family remained. Aunts and uncles hovering awkwardly. Cousins checking their phones. Everyone wanting to leave but not knowing how. The perfect engagement party had turned into a funeral. For Stephanie's relationship. For her wedding plans. For her future as she had imagined it. Mom was still holding Stephanie. Dad stood nearby, hands in his pockets looking lost. My younger brother had his arm around his wife, both of them staring at the floor. Nobody knew what to say. What to do. How to fix this. Because it couldn't be fixed. The cake sat untouched on the dessert table. White frosting with their names in gold script. Blake and Stephanie. The photographer's assistant was taking down the backdrop. The one that said, "Forever starts today." The irony was suffocating. "I'm sorry," I said finally. To the room. To my family. To Stephanie. "I'm sorry I didn't find a better way. I'm sorry it happened like this. But I'm not sorry I told the truth." Stephanie looked up at me. Her face was destroyed. Makeup smeared. Eyes swollen. But something in her expression had changed. The anger was gone. The denial was gone. Only devastation remained. And maybe underneath that a tiny seed of gratitude. "Don't apologize," she whispered. "You saved me." 2 days passed before Stephanie came to my apartment. I didn't expect her. Didn't know if she would ever want to see me again. Sometimes telling the truth destroys relationships, even when you're right. She knocked on my door Sunday morning. I was still in pajamas, coffee in hand, completely unprepared. When I opened the door, I barely recognized her. No makeup, hair in a messy bun, wearing sweatpants and an old college sweatshirt. She looked younger somehow, more real. She didn't wait for me to invite her in. Just walked past me into the living room, sat on my couch, put her face in her hands. "I was wrong," she said. No preamble. No small talk. Just those 3 words. About everything. About you. About him. About all of it. I sat down beside her. Kept some distance. Didn't know if she wanted comfort or space. "I believed him over you," she continued. "My own sister. You tried to protect me and I humiliated you. Twice. In front of everyone we know." Her voice cracked. "I don't know how to forgive myself for that." "Do you know why I didn't believe you?" Stephanie asked. She wasn't looking at me. Was staring at her hands in her lap. "Because if I believed you, my whole future would collapse. The wedding. The house we were looking at. The life I had planned. All of it would just disappear." She finally looked at me. "It was easier to think you were lying than to accept he was." I understood that. Hated it but understood it. "I wanted the fantasy," she whispered. "I wanted the perfect fiancé. The fairy tale wedding. The Instagram life. I wanted it so badly that I ignored every red flag. Every warning sign. Every time something felt wrong." She wiped her eyes. "He told me once that he had broken off a previous engagement because the girl was too jealous. Too insecure. That she made accusations about him cheating." My blood ran cold. I believed him. Thought she was crazy. But now I wonder if she was just another woman trying to warn me. Another person he manipulated and discarded. Stephanie's hands were shaking. "I sacrificed you to keep my fantasy alive. And I don't know if you can ever forgive me for that." "I forgive you," I said. And I meant it. But forgiving didn't mean forgetting. Didn't mean everything was fine. But things can't just go back to normal, Steph. You can't humiliate me publicly, choose someone else's lies over my truth, and expect us to pretend it never happened. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I know. Forgiveness isn't amnesia," I continued. "I love you. You're my sister. But you hurt me. Deeply. And that's going to take time to heal." "How much time?" she asked. I shook my head. "I don't know. However long it takes. Maybe a few months. Maybe longer. But I need space right now. I need to process what happened. And you need to figure out why you chose him over me." Stephanie stood up slowly. "I understand. And I'm going to work on myself. Figure out why I needed validation so badly that I ignored reality. Why I cared more about looking perfect than being honest. She walked to my door. Paused. Thank you for not giving up on me. Even when I gave up on you. After she left, I sat on my couch for a long time. Thinking about sisters. About loyalty. About truth. About how sometimes protecting someone means letting them hate you first. 6 months later. The wedding that never happened was just a memory. Stephanie had started therapy. Really good therapy. She posted about it sometimes. Not the details but the journey. Learning to value substance over surface. Reality over fantasy. She returned the dress. Canceled the venue. Sent back the gifts that had already arrived. Took down all the countdown posts. Deleted every photo of Blake. Erased him from her Instagram like he never existed. Blake's reputation followed him. His company let him go quietly. Something about inappropriate conduct. Apparently, I wasn't the only woman he had messaged. 3 others came forward after the engagement party. All with similar stories. All with screenshots. He moved to another state. Tried to reinvent himself. But the internet remembers everything. As for me, I didn't get revenge. I got vindication. I got proof that I wasn't crazy, wasn't jealous, wasn't lying. I got my sister back slowly. We had coffee sometimes. Talked carefully. Rebuilt trust one conversation at a time. It wasn't perfect. But it was real. And real was better than perfect. I learned that protecting someone sometimes means they'll hate you first. Sometimes truth costs relationships. But living with lies costs more. In the end, I didn't need to scream. I didn't need to fight. I just needed a speaker. And the courage to press play.